Good evening. This is Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Tonight, the Supreme Court steps in, orders a CBI probe into the Vyapam scam as pressure grows on the governor to resign and the opposition steps up its attack on Shivraj Chauhan. But will a CBI probe really get to the bottom of this scam? Will we finally know the truth? Also tonight, as the Madhya Pradesh governor gets caught in the Vyapam tangle, why are politicians still being appointed to these positions? Do politicians need to exit Raj Bhavans? That's going to be our big debate in just a little while from now. But first, the top story tonight, the Supreme Court ordering the CBI to investigate the Madhya Pradesh admission and recruitment scam called Vyapam. The Congress has welcomed it but wants the top court to monitor the probe.
A battery of lawyers and leaders taking MP's massive admissions and recruitment scam to the Supreme Court today. While Kapil Sibal, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Indra Jaisingh and Vivek Tankha, appearing for petitioners and whistleblowers led by Digvijay Singh, asked for a CBI probe, the country's top legal officer Mukul Rohtgi, appearing for the Shivraj Singh Chauhan government, said they had no objection. Transferring the probe from STF to CBI, the Supreme Court said, instead of deciding the issue, the High Court washed its hands of it and put the ball in our court.
ये मेरी अग्नि परीक्षा की घड़ियां थी, क्योंकि मैं चाहता तो ये जांच नहीं हो सकती थी। पर देखिए उनका रिजिग्नेशन एक दिन में 5-6 बार करते हैं वो। शिवराज फोबिया से पीड़ित है कांग्रेस।
We don't have any faith in this monitoring.
Though they now say they have no objections to a CBI probe, the Shivraj government had earlier opposed such a probe before the MP High Court. In April last year, they told the court, the STF is working in the right direction. There's no need for a CBI probe. Even a couple of days ago on NDTV, Shivraj Singh Chauhan explained his reluctance to ask for a CBI probe, saying approaching CBI directly would be contempt of High Court and Supreme Court. Families of the accused who have died mysterious deaths during the probe now hope there may finally be justice, even though with a fresh probe, things may now get delayed even more.
अब जब माननीय न्यायालय के पास जो सीबीआई से जांच करा रहे हैं, हमें विश्वास है कि हमको सही न्याय मिलेगा और साथ मेरी बच्ची के साथ अन्य लोगों को भी न्याय की अपेक्षा थी, वह शायद सीबीआई की जांच से न्याय मिलेगा.
Will the Supreme Court monitor the CBI probe? It will decide on the 24th of this month after hearing the views of CBI. But for the CBI, it will be a tough task given the magnitude of the scam and also shortage of staff in CBI. With Ketki Angre and Rahul Srivastav in New Delhi, Arunachalam Vaidyanathan, NDTV.
Well, will the CBI probe really get to the bottom of things? Does it really need to be monitored by the Supreme Court? And what about today's political developments, particularly the increasing demands now for the governor to step down? Joining us on the program tonight, we have Dr. Abhishek Singhvi of the Congress Party, who will be joining us shortly. GVL Narasimha Rao, spokesperson of the BJP, Shahid Siddiqui and Rana Ayub are commentators tonight, and Ashish Khaitan, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Mr. Rao, let me ask you first, because you were on every television channel over the last 5 days saying that the courts were satisfied with the way the STF probe was taking place in Madhya Pradesh, and today the court has ordered a CBI probe, and the Madhya Pradesh government has also changed its position. Would you concede that yes, that there was a lot of pressure from the opposition, pressure from the media that forced the Madhya Pradesh government to change its stand?
I think we still believe and we still hold that the inquiry into the Vyapam by the STF was a completely credible and an independent investigation, and no investigation of no other investigation, no other issue had been probed as credibly as Vyapam had been done by the STF under the supervision of the SIT court-appointed SIT.
Doing such a great job.
It was doing a great job. It was doing a fantastic job. The High Court said this on numerous occasions. The Supreme Court also held the same position in November 2014. 13 petitions were rejected by the High Court for appointment or for handing over the probe to the CBI.
Let's talk about
Supreme
today.
Court also
Today
did
the court has given the case to the CBI.
No, because
you can't keep going back to last year, what the court said last year. At the end of the day, the Madhya Pradesh government completely changed its stand.
But this investigation,
yeah.
I think the Chief Minister, Shri Shivraj Singh Chauhan, was quite forthcoming, was quite honest about the reasons for now handing over the probe to the CBI. I can only paraphrase or I can reiterate what he had stated. He said certainly this has been one of the best investigations, but then there is a cloud of suspicion about certain deaths which had actually become a matter of a national debate, and certain doubts have got to be created about this. So it's important that the investigation is handed over to any agency.
Should you still be saying that this was a great investigation? I mean, I asked you this very honestly today on a day the Supreme Court gave the case to the CBI. Days and days of evidence has been unraveled how, deaths that turned out to be murder were passed off as suicide. So, can you sit here and call this a great investigation? Let's concede that this investigation is faulty.
Yes. Absolutely no. I think that's a very wrong conclusion to make. I completely hold this is the position of our government, our party, but we have nothing to hide. Let any agency probe this. Let the Honorable Supreme Court directly monitor this investigation. We would only be pleased. But let me also say, today in the order which was passed by the Honorable Supreme Court, they have categorically mentioned, we appreciate the stand taken by the government of Madhya Pradesh in deciding to hand over the probe to the CBI. I think the official order is still not up on the website of the Supreme Court. I checked it just 5 minutes ago.
I don't know if you need to pat yourself on the back for that, because the same Madhya Pradesh government opposed the CBI probe last year. And what stand the state government takes in court is also very important, and is a factor in how the court decides on these things. Abhishek Singhvi, you were there in court
Even
today.
Even the Supreme Court opposed it.
Yeah, once again, Abhishek Singhvi, you were there in court today as the lawyer for one of the petitioners as well. Mr. Rao, let me get everyone else in as well. Abhishek Singhvi, the BJP says it's very proud of the way this probe has been handled so far, but they're not afraid of anything. At the end of the day, Dr. Singhvi, do you think the CBI will be able to fairly investigate this case?
Nidhi, first of all, let's not talk legalism or law. The Supreme Court has taken care of that, and I don't want to get into those technical details. But I want to make a few very quick points. First point is you have a Chief Minister, a state, and largely the central government, till 48 hours ago, for over 4 or 5 years, particularly 2 years, resolutely opposing any form of external evaluation of this subject, sticking to STF SIT, no CBI, no Supreme Court monitoring, resolutely, vehemently opposing it. Number two, what changed in 48 hours? All I can say is, when the water gets above the neck, you start making a virtue out of necessity. With all this, and this is important, I want to ask you, Nidhi, in which country in the world, forget India, can there be 40 deaths or 45 deaths and the head of state of that country, the head of the government of that country keeps quiet, which is still continuing? The government of Madhya Pradesh has not yet categorically agreed to an SIT that will be looked at the next hearing when the CBI comes. They have done nothing but being caught screaming, wrenching, shouting and kicking to a stage where they are now reluctantly agreeing because there is no other option. They are making a virtue out of necessity, and it's obvious that public opinion and intra-party feuding led them to make this point ultimately, but it's good that something did make them do it.
Okay,
All I'd like to say is, Didi, that
let me just get
governor, for the governor's case, who was prior to becoming a governor, a congressman, to find that the state government does not appeal, the state government supports, the state government possibly along with the governor has much to hide. The Congress has been carrying protestations on the street outside Raj Bhavan for the last 4 months, and today we got notice in that matter also in the Supreme Court.
Okay, so you're saying the Congress wants this governor to go. I'm going to get to the question of the governor in just a moment, but let me just get everyone's initial comments first on the issue of the probe itself. Ashish Khaitan, do you believe that the CBI will fairly probe this? We all know about the the caged parrot and so on. Does this probe need to be monitored by the Supreme Court in order for there to be at least a hope of some kind of justice?
Yeah, first of all, to call the Vyapam investigation done so far by the Madhya Pradesh State Police a great investigation, I think is a great travesty. It was, if anything, a sham investigation where you were doing just enough to show something in terms of action to the High Court, which was monitoring the investigation. Even during the investigation, when key witnesses get killed under mysterious circumstances, even during the investigation when key accused also get killed under mysterious circumstances, you don't call it a great investigation, you call it a cover-up. And I think this is exactly what the Supreme Court has said today by transferring the probe to the CBI and by now taking the monitoring of the probe in its own hands. The Supreme Court, in a way, has given its no trust, verdict in the investigation done so far. Having said that, whether the CBI will now be up to the mark and live up to the expectations of the Supreme Court or not, I think is a difficult question, is a tricky question, because in the past we have seen that the CBI itself has been termed as a caged parrot by none other than the apex court of India, and that remark came in a Supreme Court monitored investigation, which was a coal scam.
Yeah.
Because in the previous regime we saw that the CBI had the gumption that in a Supreme Court monitored investigation, it went and lied before the Supreme Court. And in a Supreme Court monitored investigation, it was taking its action taken reports, its status reports before the executive, before producing it before the Supreme Court. Over the last 1 year, this government has done nothing to restore the faith, people's faith in institutions like CBI. What the CBI has done over the last 1 year is giving clean chits to its to BJP's tall leaders, including Amit Shah. No appeal in Sohrabuddin case. So many other investigations have slipped through the cracks. On the other hand, it has been very happy in going after the political.
I think Ashish Khaitan knows nothing beyond.
I'll let Mr. Rao respond to that.
The key in this investigation, the key
is to have, I think you're right that the key is to have a Supreme Court monitored investigation.
But just one point. Just let me complete my argument. Just let me complete my argument. All that I'm saying is that the key in Vyapam investigation, the key to the complete truth, full truth, will lie in the vigorous monitoring done by the Supreme Court. If the monitoring is vigorous, robust, then perhaps we will see some justice and we'll see the agencies going to the bottom of the
I'll get
whole
Mr.
scam.
Rao to respond to that in just a moment. Let me get Shahid Siddiqui and Rana to quickly weigh in on this first. Shahid Siddiqui, weigh in on why today's developments are so important. Do you believe that it politically significantly weakens Shivraj Singh Chauhan's position as well? Of course, the governor, I think it's inevitable, will just have to go.
Absolutely. Shivraj Singh Chauhan has been cornered. He has been forced by public opinion, by the media, by some forces within his own party. His position has weakened within the party and outside in public domain. Secondly, I think it will be a great challenge for CBI. People not only have lost faith in our institution, but CBI itself is facing a lot of challenges. It's a huge investigation. It will require huge number of investigators, and I think CBI is not ready, not in a position to really do it properly. It requires more people, and the Supreme Court will have to see that more people are provided from different police officers from different states, and a special team of CBI is formed which goes into this, which totally looks into it, because there are nearly 40-50 cases of mysterious deaths, and then the scam itself which needs to inquire into hundreds, thousands of people. So that will be a huge challenge for CBI, and it should not linger on for 5-10 years. People want to see the result in 6 months or a year's time. So it will be a challenge for Supreme Court also.
You know, there's also another challenge, Rana, which is the whistleblowers. Because, it is really their efforts that have led to a point today where you have the Supreme Court stepping in and ordering a CBI probe. Rana, who's going to protect the whistleblowers? Isn't that a key question as well? Who's going to protect them?
Absolutely, Nidhi. In fact, in the observation by the Supreme Court, if I may read, it says the High Court washed its hands off, put ball in our court. I mean, that says something about the kind of investigation that was going on in Madhya Pradesh vis-a-vis the STF. It did not need to take so many killings in Madhya Pradesh for us to be reminded that there is a case which is so serious. Having said that, besides the fact that the whistleblowers are being attacked and the accused are being killed, one of the key apprehensions that I have in the case is when the STF was monitoring this case over the last few years, especially in 2012 and 2013, many key names from RSS top membership came out in the public domain. Newspapers reported about it. There were reports that Suresh Soni came up in the conversations with many accused. There were telephonic conversations. There were income tax records. And within a month or so, when STF gave a clean chit, within a month of Shivraj Singh Chauhan being pulled up by the RSS, the STF gave a clean chit to all the members. My apprehension is that we are just looking at it very superficially. The entire case, it's not just about whistleblowers. Yes, they have to be protected, but I think the entire larger conspiracy also needs to be addressed in the Vyapam scam, which is somehow not coming to the fore.
So then I turned this back to Mr. Jaiveer Rao. That Mr. Rao, what has stopped the centre from sacking Mr. Yadav as governor, when many other governors under the new regime have been transferred out over the last year or so? How come Mr. Yadav, who was a Congress appointee, stayed?
I think all of you who want to somehow have the great fun of taking on the BJP and failing in your mission most of the time. You did this in Gujarat, many of you in the panel did this in Gujarat for several years, and you all had egg on your faces. And now a similar repeat is now happening in Madhya Pradesh. And we have fought these cases in courts, and we will fight the cases in courts again. Now the matter is entirely under the case of the governor. It was the STF which filed the FIR against the governor. It was the SIT which took that position that FIR can be filed. What does that not show that the SIT and STF were conducting this inquiry in an independent and impartial manner?
Mr. Rao, why wasn't he removed as governor?
Yeah, the reason
transferred so many people to Mizoram. I mean, forget transferring him. The thing is, once the FIR was filed, should he not have been removed?
But you would have joined the Congress in alleging that we removed him, we shifted him out of Gujarat, out of Madhya Pradesh, because we didn't want him to be available in Bhopal. You could have made the same allegations even then.
So why did you transfer? Why did you move out, sack other governors? Why did you sack other Congress-appointed governors? You didn't have a problem sacking them. Why didn't you sack Mr. Yadav?
Why was Kamala Beniwal sacked?
I think which governor is to be transferred where is within the domain of the central government. I don't think you can dictate which governor and for what reason has been shifted. But removal of a governor has to be done with a lot of justification. And there is a 2004-2005 Supreme Court case which clearly finds fault with many governments that have removed
So when you removed the other governors who were UPA appointees, each of them had a justified reason, is it? But only Mr. Yadav didn't. I mean, an FIR that talked about money being exchanged in his house, that talked about money being exchanged in Raj Bhavan at a meeting with the governor's son, 3 lakhs given to his son for 10 roll numbers. I mean, look at what the FIR says. The governor was called accused number 10. I'm just reading from the FIR, Mr. Rao. Was that not good enough reason to move him out of Raj Bhavan?
The FIR was quashed. The FIR was quashed on the orders of Jabalpur High Court.
Yes,
Number one,
the governor had immunity. It's a technicality.
I think you have half a dozen people. No, you have collected. You have 3-4 people on the panel who will take a particular line. So I should be given enough time to present my view.
You are,
I think the choice of the panelists on the panel itself shows you want to present a particular point of view. So I should be given my fair chance to present my views across.
Mr. Rao, very simple. These are all the charges against the governor in that FIR. He was named and accused. Why wasn't he shifted out when other UPA appointees were or sacked?
I think it's the prerogative of the government. I think you must understand this, and I am sure you understand this. It's a prerogative of the government. The transfer is not on the basis of any accusations against him. Transfer can be done for the convenience of administration. But in the case shifting of a governor who was facing accusations in a case which was directly being monitored by the Jabalpur High Court, could have possibly elicited different kinds of response from the courts of the country. And in this particular case...
Okay, Mr. Rao, you finish your point.
No, I think you please tell the anchor.
Go ahead, Mr. Rao. Finish your point.
Pose your question to the anchor.
All right. No, actually, Rana wants to pose a question to you. Go ahead, Rana.
Mr. Rao, your
I don't wish to answer any questions from panelists. I do not wish to answer any questions. You can You can paraphrase them
Yes,
if
I'm
you like.
asking
I will
Nidhi. I'm
answer all
asking Nidhi,
questions
Mr.
of
Rao.
the
You can answer
program
her.
answer.
You can answer her. Your party, your cabinet minister Uma Bharti herself expressed apprehensions over the investigation done by the STF, saying that she feared for her life. I mean, is this the kind of investigation that the STF has been up to? Why are your party members scared of the investigation? Why is Uma Bharti, who's the cabinet minister, scared of the investigation?
Do you have some?
Mr. Rao?
Do you have some respect for the Supreme Court of the country? Do you have
Of
some
course we
respect
do.
for the High Courts
Of
of
course
the
we
country?
do.
This no,
But it is your minister, Mr.
No,
Rao,
this
it
is
is
the
your
judgment.
minister.
This is what. No, please wait. This is what the Supreme Court said in November 2014.
Why are you
6
still
months
hung
ago,
up on November
and
2014?
all the debts that you are referring to
We
have
are
not
now
happened
in the middle of 2015.
So you are questioning.
We are in the middle of 2015.
So all this has not happened. No, you are. Are you saying all these allegations have got leveled only in the last 6 months?
No, I'm
think
saying
get
that the
your
court
facts
has
right,
very
Nidhi.
clearly taken a
You don't
position
know.
today.
I
The
think
court has
the
clearly taken a
so-called-
position today
no,
that
no,
it
the
didn't take
so-called-
earlier. How can you still say the investigation is great? And
No.
why wasn't the governor moved out? Is it because Mr. Yadav knows
It is
too much?
great. You will not agree, I know. I'm not here to convince you. I'm telling you, the Supreme Court agreed, the High Courts of the country agreed, till November 2014. A few deaths have happened even after that. They are
Mr. Rao,
accused persons
Mr.
in
Rao,
Vyapam,
today the court
but
has
there
ordered
is
a CBI
no
probe.
direct link to be
Yes,
established.
and today the same court has ordered a CBI probe. The same court has ordered a CBI probe.
The same court has appreciated.
Abhishek Singhvi,
The same
one of
court
the
has
arguments that
appreciated
one of the arguments the BJP made today, and I don't
The
know if
same
it was
court has
Mr. Rao who said
appreciated
it,
the BJP
was that this was a
government's
Congress
position today.
appointed governor. I think it was one of the other
Can
BJP
somebody else
spokespersons
speak?
who made the point that it was a Congress appointed governor, and therefore the onus lies on them to explain why Mr. Yadav was sent to Raj Bhavan. Mr. Singhvi.
It's an amazing proposition. Look at, I mean, this is, really low-level politics without any regard to principle. First and foremost, 8 or 7 perhaps, governors are removed by pressure, intimidation, non-cooperation, signal, not being allowed to work within a few months of the new government coming in. And the one governor who has very serious FIR allegations is left untouched, ensconced. It is an amazing proposition that left, right and centre governors are being removed, but Mr. Ramaraj Yadav is not removed. 2, is it because he knew some special facts or is more complicit along with the state government functionaries? Number 3, no appeal is filed by the state government till now against the High Court order. Number 4,
That's incorrect.
when a governor becomes a governor, he loses all party affiliation. I am saying on the contrary that yes, with the Congress past, the Congress has not hesitated in having road demonstrations outside Raj Bhavan for the last 4 months. And today, it was we who moved a petition, not an appeal by the state government, against an order which was obtained in May. The governor's order in May 2015 in the High Court. The state has not appealed till now. We had to file a fresh Article 32 petition direct in the Supreme Court today. So what is this? This is something which is completely selective, hypocritical, completely designed to hide. And Nidhi, tell me, if the Chief Minister, this scam was discovered in 2009, on the floor of the Assembly he says this, that we are ordering an inquiry. From 10 till 15 now, after an inquiry has been ordered, tell me Nidhi, how is it possible for 42 people to die? And he is the medical education minister from 2008 to 2012. Do you know what the STF SIT does, which we have attacked in the Supreme Court today? Piyush Pandey is a consultant with the Indore this whole investigation. He sends a pen drive first to the STF, Delhi High Court, and to a lab, Truth Lab in Bangalore. Ultimately, it all lands up under a High Court of Delhi order to Madhya Pradesh. The STF examines it, gives a report on a sealed cover to a SIT. SIT gives a report on a sealed cover to the High Court. The monitoring bench hears 4 people in every hearing, only 4. Additional Advocate General, STF, SIT and the bench itself. Nobody is called. The complainant, the whistleblower, Piyush Pandey, the person produced by, nobody is called. The SIT, the STF's finding prima facie.
Are you questioning the
that
court?
The pen drive is forged.
Can I ask you a question? Are you questioning
the court?
Jabalpur High Court?
You question in the High Court.
Are you questioning the
Of
Jabalpur
course
High
we are.
Court?
We have questioned. Sir, if you read the papers, we have questioned it today in 5 petitions. We have assailed the order. You cannot have a denial of natural justice where in cozy comfort, the STF, SIT, Division Bench of the High Court and the Additional Advocate General alone can enter the proceedings. Please understand this. Your viewers must understand this, Nidhi. Nobody else allowed. On 24th of April 2015, an order is passed by the division bench of the High Court. Nobody else shall be entitled to file writ petition in the High Court.
So let me,
in the High Court.
Let me get Mr. Rao to respond to that.
That is why we went directly to the Supreme Court.
He looks absolutely
These are
horrified
facts.
that you have questioned the High Court.
The government of Madhya Pradesh should have done 3 years ago what it did today. The government of Madhya Pradesh should have started with the resignation of the Chief Minister.
Okay, Mr. Rao, your response.
Unfortunately,
Your
just like the governor,
right after that,
Chief Minister is sticking to his post.
Let me,
sticking to his post.
Yeah, Mr. Rao.
They have questioned the High Court. Anyone can go to a higher court in appeal.
In the Supreme Court,
the High Court even earlier. But every time in Vyapam, every time they went to Supreme Court on cases related to Vyapam, it was the Supreme Court upheld the views of the High Court. So mark my words, you will get the same response in Supreme Court. Let's see what the court says eventually. But the Supreme Court had rejected your petition in the past. The High Court had called documents presented by your leader. No, it's because going by the trend. In the past, the allegations against the court have been summarily rejected. So I think, anyway, let's wait for the verdict. The state government, this investigation is not under the domain of the state government. It is only the STF which has been investigating the case. Now, if the case shifts to CBI and it is monitored by either the High Court or the Honorable Supreme Court, we would welcome it. Even till now, the probe has not been done under the ambit of the state government.
Will a High Court monitored probe be enough, Ashish?
Well, if a High Court monitored probe were enough to uncover the Vyapam scam, to protect the witnesses and to ensure that the high and mighty were brought to justice, then there would have been no petition before the Supreme Court and there would have been no order from the Supreme Court as we had today, which is a CBI investigation monitored by the Supreme Court. Now, I think coming back on the point of governor being retained, it's not just one governor after NDA came into power who was retained. There were 2 governors who were retained. One governor in Madhya Pradesh and one lieutenant governor in Delhi. We have seen both during UPA and now under NDA that the constitutional post of governor has been reduced to a hatchet man, to an agent of change. Sir, I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking. Please don't interrupt. To agents of the center.
That was factually incorrect. That's the reason I said.
Unfortunately, as hatchet men, either to protect, sir, please let me complete. Don't do this. Either to protect the interests of the ruling party at the center, or to create hurdles in the functioning of a duly elected government, but of a different political denomination than from the center at the state. These are the only 2 functions that a governor has been carrying out over the last many years, both during UP and under NDA. I want to understand why Ram Naresh Yadav was not removed. He talks about SR Bombay judgment.
I don't get it.
He talks about Rameshwar Prasad judgment. Why didn't you think about SR Bombay, Rameshwar Prasad, when you removed Sheila Dikshit, when you removed D.Y. Patil, when you removed Shekhar Dutt, when you removed ESEL Narasimhan, when you removed all other governors appointed by UPA? While in Ram Naresh Yadav.
Okay, Mr. Rai,
we know you are friends with Sheila Dikshit.
About Ram
that
Naresh
question
Yadav.
Comes back to you on
Ram
governors.
Naresh Yadav goes, if his constitutional immunity goes, then perhaps the shield to the CMO also goes. That's the only reason I can see why Mr. Yadav was protected, because he is clearly
actually
a shield to protect
Ashish,
somebody very high and mighty in the Madhya Pradesh government.
Yeah, okay, so you think that Mr. Yadav is being protected because he knows too much, basically, Mr. Rao?
I think some of the panelists are not aware of the basic facts of the case, and therefore some of the accusations or some of the statements are completely out of order. Number one, it was not the state government that got the FIR quashed. It was the High Court, and the state government represented before the High Court, Jabalpur High Court, saying that in the opinion of the state government, the governor does not enjoy constitutional or legal immunity, and therefore the FIR must
Mr.
stay
Rao,
and the investigations
if that
must
is
be conducted.
True, if that is true, all the more reason to sack him.
This is the step that the state government has taken.
Then why then why wasn't he sacked? Then why wasn't he sacked? If the state government said in court that it didn't think he had immunity in this case, then why wasn't he removed?
No, but the High Court had held this immunity was enjoyed by him. So therefore, any action by the central government would have seemed as if we were not doing this in deference to the Honorable High Court, and the matter was anyway to reach the Supreme Court. We had 3 months' time to go in appeal against the High Court order in the Supreme Court, and the state government has given the approval to file an SPL in the Supreme Court.
Yes.
No, but in the meanwhile, a petition got filed. This is on record. You can go and seek RTI replies if you like. An approval was given.
No, let me get Shahid Siddiqui. Does the BJP's explanation wash about why Ram Naresh Yadav continues to be in office?
Absolutely not. It is unfortunate, it's hilarious, it's amazing the way these people are trying to defend Ram Naresh Yadav, and even now they can remove him. Why shouldn't they remove Ram Naresh Yadav? If they really want an honest investigation to take place in all aspects of this scam, then he should be removed. But it is very clear that they have been defending him to defend themselves. They are afraid that if he is removed and he starts speaking and he comes out with what happened, then they will also be in soup, and nobody will be safe because governor, it seems his son is no more, but it seems that he was in the know of a lot of things. And I believe that the media should keep the pressure on them. Mr. Rao has been saying that all the panelists are, talking one way. Of course, we are talking a different way because we are not a spokesperson of the BJP. We are speaking up for the for justice,
I know it's not on this issue.
Not all along, not all along.
Mr. Rao,
not all along.
You're all together.
No, nobody is together.
No, you're all together
on all issues. We will be together. Of course, it is our duty as a media person to raise issues, and it is under the media pressure whether it is 2G or
whether it is at the center or in the state.
This is scam. Every scam will be exposed in this country under the pressure of the media and the public opinion.
Yeah, the media will ask questions.
No, it's quite fair. I think let your viewers judge. The background of all your panelists is known to the viewers.
You're personally attacking everybody else rather than answering the questions. You'd rather personally attack the entire panel rather than answering the legitimate questions. What do you mean by background of the people on the panel? I please urge you, Mr. Rao, to stay away from personal attacks from other panelists. Nobody is personally attacking you. I think people are simply raising tough questions that the BJP has to answer. Abhishek Singhvi has to
answer all your questions.
All right, Abhishek Singhvi has to go. Let him get last word before we come back over.
But is it not a fact? Is it not a fact that they have personally targeted our leaders in the past? Is it not a fact? Your viewers know this. You don't need any.
Who? Name them.
Name
small points.
I mean, this is not.
No, I think the viewers know it. The viewers know it.
We have targeted Rahul Gandhi. We have targeted Rahul Gandhi and Manmohan Singh. Was it personal?
Exactly.
No, the viewers know.
Small points.
Yeah. They have only one agenda, which is to do BJP bashing.
No, but that's
our agenda is
what kind of a defense is that, Mr. Rao? You're staring at, is that how you're going to look at this? Such a serious scam, 40 people dead, and you're going to call it BJP bashing? Come on. I mean, surely there's a better defense than that.
I think unfortunately, that's the kind of people you have on the panel. I think you must be seen to be fair. Bring in neutral journalists. You cannot bring journalists and people who have always had an agenda.
Neutrality is not.
You cannot have people having
an
agenda.
I'm sorry, I'm going to stop the personal attacks right here. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop the personal attacks right here because this is not about that. Okay, I think let's just stop that right here. Abhishek Singhvi, last point from you.
Nidhi, thank you. I think it's a long time ago that Vyapam went beyond political boundaries. And if that simple truth was recognized by the BJP and the state government, things would have been better. They partially saw that truth today, which is why they said CBI yes, but they've always seen it as political, narrow viewpoint. Secondly, a very interesting fallacy emerged when Mr. Rao was speaking. He said there was an immunity, so we could not remove the governor. We are all talking for the last half an hour of the administrative removal of the governor. His immunity against an FIR and crime has nothing to do with the kind of removals de facto administratively done for Sheila Dikshit and hordes of others. And lastly, this whole issue is in the larger perspective of a member, his own OSD, his own minister, who is a minister for education, being behind bars. But the chief minister was the medical education minister from 2008 to 2012, the heart of the scam. And till now, till 2015 it has taken, and I want to make this last point, Nidhi, and I feel sad about it, that it took, and I'm now going beyond politics and beyond this panel discussion, it's sad that it took the death of a journalist to wake up the media to the degree and the extent to which it is woken up now.
I agree with you.
The death of this journalist was dastardly. But the death of 39 other people or 44 other people was equally dastardly.
I completely agree with you.
The media never thought 45 other deaths were dastardly,
we haven't
but
covered
they woke
the story
up
the way
with
we
true
should have.
earnest.
You're absolutely right. This story deserves far better, greater coverage. It deserves far more investigative reporting for a very long time. Mr. Rao,
and I tell you, that is the reason why finally, that is why you're called the fourth estate. That is the reason finally, Mr. Shivraj Chauhan
media will
has come
have
down
to
and
keep the pressure on, otherwise they will get away with it.
Mr. Rao.
Mr. Singhvi, I would like to counter what Abhishek ji had said just now. I think you pointed fingers at the Chief Minister. There is not an iota of evidence against the Chief Minister. All the allegations that your party members have made, all of them have been found to be utterly fake and false. And also, I would like to remind you, who was the coal minister in UPA 1? And when did the entire coal scam unravel? So was it not during Dr. Manmohan Singh's tenure?
He has been attacked by all of us.
Was he not the coal minister at the center?
But what does that have to do with Vyapam?
Did you take any note of
Mr.
it?
Rao, what does that have to do with Vyapam?
And he himself,
Mr. Rao, Manmohan Singh has been
that
voted out of
doesn't mean
power
that
by the
doesn't take the culpability away.
Why did BJP question Manmohan Singh?
And Dr. Manmohan Singh was involved. He in fact has received court summons now.
So why
he
did
was the one who actually overseen the entire scam.
If
He
you
was the coal minister.
then why
And you did nothing to remove Dr. Manmohan Singh. And you are targeting the Chief Minister who has nothing to do with it. In fact, he is responsible for investigating the entire issue. He is responsible for the
response.
Nidhi, just 1 second, I want to come in.
Yeah, Abhishek,
Nidhi, the answer of Mr. Rao makes my point. He doesn't answer the fact I raised that the OSD of the Chief Minister is in jail, his Minister of Education is in jail, Secretary of an NGO of Shivraj Singh Chauhan is the President in jail.
That's absolutely incorrect.
But he as the Medical Education Minister is not in jail. Now, 1 minute, he is. They are accused. Lakshmikant Sharma, his OSD, and the NGO officer
get your facts right.
Officially accused. Now, number 3. Dr. Manmohan Singh is totally irrelevant to the discussion, but for your information, he is facing a baseless prosecution.
No, but you can't have two yardsticks.
Where is Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan facing that?
And he was the minister for coal. He was also the Prime Minister. How could you have vicarious responsibility for Chauhan, but not a vicarious responsibility for Manmohan Singh?
Let me just add 10 minutes left.
Allegation and scandal.
Yeah, no. Let's just talk about Dr. Singhvi. Thanks for joining us. I know you have to leave. Rana, on this question of governors. Now, this is very important. I mean, we have had controversies with governors one after another. We have seen the UPA changing governors when they came to power. The NDA has done the same thing. Is it time to, get politicians out of Raj Bhavan? End of story.
Well, really wishful thinking to get politicians out of Raj Bhavan, but come to think of it, whoever you appoint, do you think that person will not be under pressure from the respective governments? I think it's very easy to say that politicians should not be appointed as the governor of a certain place. I mean, we have seen it's not just the BJP. The Congress has done this in the past. The Congress has targeted governors appointed by the BJP in the past. I mean, it's not just about a person who has a political background. I mean, they would attack anybody who who is appointed by a certain political dispensation. I mean, look at what is happening in educational bodies. I mean, those who have been appointed by the UP regime in various educational institutions as vice chancellors, they are now now being removed by the BJP. So I don't think it's a simple solution. I mean, there needs to be perhaps a holistic approach to it. I think getting politicians out of Raj Bhavan is not the solution.
All right. Well, Jaiveer Shergill of the Congress Party joins us now. Jaiveer, the fact is, it's very easy for the Congress to turn around today and say that the NDA has been politicizing the governor's post. The UPA did exactly the same thing. Is there a way to change this institutionally?
Nidhi, no. I'll answer you. Number one, if you look at the scheme of our constitution, the theme of checks and balances, the powers the governor exercises, acting like
have a governor but not a politician.
No, I'm coming to the politics part of now. Now, there are 2 points I want to make. Number one, political appointments have been there, but we can't wince this obvious fallout of a democratic politics, but we can inject some propriety into it. And there was a commission, Sarkariya Commission in 2001, 11th May was the report, that's saying that have a governor which does not have a political background or has been inactive for the past 10 years. Second, I want to put another point. If you look at the nature of their job, the dynamics of Indian politics, the interplay between political parties and administration, the sensitivity and his reporting to the president, I think you need a person who has had exposure to all varied fields, and a political person fits that. But geographically, we've had army major generals in Northeast. Security was a concern. We thought somebody with the security background should fit it. I actually feel a political person with exposure to administration, balancing the act of politics with administration, and supervising the government, he fits the job.
Come on, it's also become a retirement home. With all due respect to the governor's post, it's become a retirement home where parties are putting in party
Nidhi,
loyalists.
I told you very candidly, that is the obvious fallout of democratic politics. That is. But you can inject some propriety into it. You can raise the caliber as suggested by Sarkariya Commission. We can modify this.
Khaitan, do you really think that's possible to raise the levels of propriety, or are we just going to continue to see this cycle where whenever a government comes into power, it removes the governors of the other regime and brings in its own people?
I think this is a new age India. This is in India of 2015, and the time has come in the wake of all these massive scams, in the wake of how different constitutional institutions have been eroded over a period of time by all political parties. The time has come now to review the operational functionality and the performance of governors since independence. How have they been appointed? Number one, the process, completely opaque, unaccountable. How have they performed? Have they strengthened and deepened Indian democracy, or have they weakened or undermined it by their acts and by their omissions? Number two. And number three, what are they doing today? Are they assisting a democratically elected government? Are they fulfilling the mandate which was envisaged in the Indian Constitution when the post of governor was created, or have they become agents of the center who are only sent there, one, to create hurdles in the path of a duly elected government if it happens to be of a different dispensation than from the center, or two, if it happens of the same color as of the center, then protect the interests of the ruling party. We, I think, should have a very wide-ranging debate on the utility, on the functionality, on the operational aspects of governors. The time is now, in the wake of Ram Naresh Yadav controversy, in the wake of LG in Delhi, how he has been acting, and there have been judgments in the past, Bommai judgment, Rameshwar Prasad and others, but now in 2015 when India is changing, we should debate about the utility of governors and whether or not.
Interesting point. Jaiveer wants to respond and then I'll come to Shahid Siddiqui. Yeah.
Where do we draw the line? What's president to the center is governor to the state. You are practically talking about reworking the entire constitution of India.
He's saying have a debate on it, on their utility.
Okay. Just taking Mr. Khaitan's side, remove the post of the governor, but you will still need an institution which has the power to report in law and order to the president that the government has failed. Number one, the governor appoints the district judges. The High Court judge is appointed on the consultation of the governor when the president signs the warrant. If it is, don't give it a name of a governor, you need a body, an institution which acts as a medium, a check and balance between the state government, center and the president.
You're right. In an ideal world, Shahid Siddiqui, Jaiveer is right that you need that position.
He doesn't appoint, he acts on the advice of the Council of Ministers.
Therefore, but Shahid Siddiqui, has the post become so badly politicized now, and it has been perhaps since independence.
All he does, he serves the oath.
So do we need to debate the utility, as Ashish says?
Absolutely. You see, in 70s, when you had these all SVD governments, coalition governments in various states, governors were acting as the agents of the party in power at the center, not as the agents of the center. And later on, the same thing has continued. In fact, it's much less now than it was in 70s and 80s. But even now, we need to go into a debate whether they are, because it is after experience of 60 years, we have to relook at the constitution and we have to relook at certain positions, and the position of the governor we have to relook and see what we can do about it, because having non-political governors I think is no solution, because what I have seen in the past 60 years that ex-army generals or ex-bureaucrats are act more as the agents of the party in power than political leaders. It depends on individuals. Some of the political leaders who have been appointed as governors have been extremely good, extremely neutral, objective and just, but many bureaucrats have been very
astute point.
Under pressure of the central government.
Let me ask Mr. Rao.
Don't dilute the post altogether.
Okay, Mr. Rao, how do you look at this?
Just add one line.
Okay, Ashish, add that one line.
Just one line.
Yeah.
Just one line, Nidhi, I will add. Just one line I will add. Just one line, Nidhi, if I can add. Yeah, in fact, bureaucrats who sleep in the bed with the politicians and then because of that they get rewarded have been more amenable to switching their political loyalty with the switch in power at the center, which is exactly what we have seen in Delhi. It is very easy for the bureaucrats to switch over to a new political party which has come into power, while it is on the contrary, relatively it is difficult for seasoned politicians to overnight switch their loyalties. That's all what I want to add.
All right, Mr. Rao, your thoughts on this? Is it time for a debate on the on the functions of the governor on the post?
Nidhi, you see, it's always good to have a debate in a democracy. I think you must continuously have debate about every aspect of your democracy. I don't think one should say that we are perfect and we should stop discussing. But as far as the functioning, my understanding is the office of the governor over the past at least 3 decades has not been as controversial as it was in the earlier decades, where the center would dismiss governments in the state using the office of institution of the governor. I think that arbitrariness is gone to a great extent. That is missing. But then there are some states where state governments do experience difficulty with the governor for some reason or other. But I think it is one must really know how to really balance, how one knows how to work within the framework of the constitution as it exists today, and possibly look towards improving it in future. But you have a constitution today, a scheme of things, and you have to make your own government work within that constitutional scheme. Long-term changes are certainly warranted, and debate is a good thing to certainly have
My
in
own
democracy.
feeling is we'll continue to debate this for the next 100 years and probably not see a change. With every regime that comes in, governors will be changed according to the ruling dispensation's wishes and will continue to do what the center wants them to do. I have to leave it at that tonight. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us on very different aspects of this big story from Madhya Pradesh and the fallout it could have on national politics as well. We'll take a break. We'll be back in just a moment with a story that's also breaking as we speak about a hoax on a Jet Airways flight, a bomb hoax, and this one originated from Twitter. That's after the break. Well, a story that's developing as we speak. A Jet Airways flight had to make an emergency landing this afternoon in Muscat. It had to make that landing after a bomb threat on Twitter, and the tweet, which is still online, is being investigated. Luckily, there was no bomb found. All the passengers are safe. My colleague Sudhi Ranjan Sen now joins us for more on that. Sudhi, kind of reflects the times we live in, where a single tweet can actually force a flight to be diverted and to make an emergency landing. What are authorities saying about who tweeted this?
Well, I mean, the sequence of events that we have been able to get so far is that Jet Airways staff intercepted or saw this tweet at about 13:30, that is 1:30, and brought it to the notice of the Mumbai airport authorities. And by 13:55, that is 1:55, a decision was taken that it cannot be ignored, and this has to be given highest priority. And then the ATC informs the Muscat, the Muscat ATC to inform the Jet Airways plane that it needs to land immediately, it needs to divert from its scheduled flight plan. It lands, it is checked, and now we are told that that flight is now on its way towards its scheduled destination. The tweet came from a Twitter handle of Surinder Pratap. Now what we are being told is that this person apparently is from Punjab, is from Ludhiana in Punjab, and the tweet that caused this entire chaos is said that bomb spotted in Jet Airways 9W536 from Mumbai to Dubai at 12:25, and it says Operation Badla, and that is exactly why the authorities refused to take any kind of chances, brought the plane down and put it through the process and the scheduled check. Nidhi.
All right, Sudhi, thanks for updating us on that important story. We leave it at that tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow, a big day as far as India-Pakistan ties are concerned, with the Prime Minister and Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif holding a bilateral meeting for the first time since May of 2014. We'll be following that closely. See you then.